everybody, welcome back to Wigs with Steph. I'm Steph, and if you've ever wondered what's really true about human hair wigs, what's normal, what's not, and what's just a myth floating around on the internet, this video is for you. As somebody who's worn wigs daily for over a decade now and just launched my own wig line, Wigs by Steph, I can tell you, human hair wigs are one of the most empowering, confidence-boosting things you can invest in. They give you freedom to wake up and feel beautiful, like literally jump out of bed and your hair is amazing. Even if your natural hair is like in a tricky situation right now, you get to still have beautiful hair with wigs. But there's also a ton of misinformation out there that can make people nervous to buy one. So today, I'm going to be debunking 12 of the most common myths that I've heard over the years of wearing wigs and teach you what's actually normal when it comes to high quality human hair wigs. And stick with me until the end because I'll also be sharing what really separates a great wig from just an average wig and why your wig might just end up lasting you for years. But before we dive in, please don't forget to hit that like button because it helps this video reach more people who might be struggling with hair loss and just looking for some honest advice. Myth number one is that all these little short hairs on a human hair wig means that the hair is poor quality. And we have to start with this myth because it throws so many people off. And honestly, it's one of the first things people notice. Literally, like you open the box, you take the wig out, and you spot these little shorter hairs like at the crown or the part line. And maybe they catch the light or they stand up after you brush. And your first thought might be, wait a second, did my wig come to me damaged? Nope. Those are called return hairs. And they're not only normal, they're actually proof that your wig was made with incredible care. So here's what's actually happening. When a ventilator, which is the skilled craftsperson who hand ties each hair onto the lace, is making your wig, they literally work strand by strand. They take one single hair, pick it up with a small hook called a ventilating needle, and then they pull a loop of that strand through the lace hole. And then the hair, it's not usually folded at the exact halfway point. In fact, it's almost never exact. They might actually catch it closer to 1/3 of the way down the strand, depending on how much length they want left on the top versus underneath. Then they tie a teeny tiny little knot around the lace to hold it in place. And that short little tail that ends up underneath the knot, that's the return hair that you're seeing. So instead of thinking of it as breakage, think of it like stitching in a couture dress. It's the structural detail that keeps the entire piece together. And without that return hair, your wig would literally unravel because the longer hair wouldn't have anything anchoring it into place. And that's the beauty of a hand-tied construction. It's not machine made or glued in bulk. Each knot literally represents hours of human skill and patience. On a fully hand-tied cap, there can be up to 40,000 to 60,000 of these teeny tiny little knots all tied in by hand. So a few short return hairs that you're seeing, that's actually evidence of incredible craftsmanship. Even the most luxury wigs in high-end salons, like the ones that cost thousands of dollars, have return hairs. And some manufacturers lightly steam them or press them down, but they're always there because they have to be there. They actually serve a functional purpose too. They add a bit of volume at the root, which helps the hair lay more naturally instead of flat against the scalp. And it's one of those invisible design features that makes your wig look more realistic once it's on. So the next time you notice these little flyaways near the crown or the part, just don't worry about it. It's not a flaw. It's a sign that your wig was made with love and care by a human who took an extreme amount of time to tie in each strand individually. Comment in the comment section now, crafted with care, if you love learning these little behind the scenes details that show just how much artistry goes into every single wig. And I want to say too, like the wig that I'm trying to show you about return hairs, we did it really well. Okay, this is from my company, Wigs by Steph. And yeah, we sit here and we tie in each individual hair into this completely hand-tied cap. And that is how I know how much time goes into this. And just really the fact that return hairs are necessary. They have to be there because it's a part of the hand tying process, okay? So just know that it's not a flaw. It actually serves a functional purpose. And myth number 2, if the wig sheds, it's bad quality. So, okay, let's talk about this because it's something that freaks a lot of people out. Shedding. So you brush your beautiful new wig and you see a few hairs come out and your heart just drops, right? You're starting to think, oh no, it's already falling apart, like all this hair is coming out. But let me just put your mind at ease because shedding is completely normal. Every single human hair wig, even the most expensive ones, will shed a little bit over time. Think about your natural hair for a second. Most of us lose somewhere between 50 to 100 hairs every single day. I don't know if you knew that. It's a fact. And just from brushing, sleeping, running fingers through our hair, it's a normal part of the hair growth cycle. But a wig doesn't have scalp or follicles regenerating new strands, but it does have thousands and thousands of individual hairs that have been tied into lace or a mesh base. So when you think about it, the amount of work and precision that goes into that, it makes sense that just like any delicate handmade item, a few hairs may loosen here and there over time. So like when you brush your hair, when you wash, when you style your wig, those motions naturally are going to put a bit of tension on the knots, and a few strands might slip out, especially near the part or lace front where the knots are smaller and finer, and that's not damage. It's just life for a hand-tied piece. And here's something most people don't realize. Even the way you handle your wig can influence shedding. So like if you're brushing from the top down and you're pulling hard on those tangles, that tension gets transferred straight up to the base of the wig where the knots are. And over time, it can cause more shedding than necessary. That's why I always say, support your lace with one hand and gently brush with the other, especially when you're coming up. Like you want to be holding that lace down, and you always want to start at the ends and work your way up, especially on longer wigs. Also, okay, let's talk about bleach knots because this is a big one. When knots are over bleached to make the hairline look invisible, this can create weakened knots, like weaken the integrity of the knots. And don't get me wrong, like this makes knots look gorgeous, makes it look more natural on your head when it's been bleached, but it just puts a bit of wear and tear on those knots. That's why you really want to make sure that if the company you're buying the human hair wig from is bleaching your knots, they know what they're doing and they're not over bleaching the knots, because when the knots become over bleached, more hair is going to fall out. Let me tell you that. So a little shedding from the front is completely expected, especially if you have a wig with light, transparent knots, bleach knots. That's why it's so important to be gentle when you wash or you style around that area. Some people just like tug and pull, but we don't want to be doing that. Now, what's not normal is excessive shedding, like clumps of hair coming out or actually seeing noticeable thinning after a few days of wear. And that could indicate a couple of things, like over bleached, poorly sealed knots, rough handling, especially when it's wet, or harsh products that dry out and weaken the base. And this is also where quality of construction really matters. In my own brand, Wigs by Steph, we take extra steps to secure the knots. And we use the highest quality lace possible because this helps minimize shedding from daily wear. And each cap is ventilated carefully and treated gently during production. There's no harsh processing, no over bleaching, no shortcuts. When you start with a wig made from Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, which is what we do, those strands are naturally going to be stronger and smoother. They don't get as dry or brittle over time, so they're less likely to snap or break off. And that's a big difference compared to non-Remy hair, which often has damaged or stripped cuticles, and those wigs are much more prone to shedding and frizzing quickly. So the takeaway, what I want you guys to know, light shedding is normal. It's just a part of the natural lifespan of a wig. Heavy shedding is not normal, and it usually points to either over-processing or rough care habits. And so the best prevention is simple: gentle handling, using the right products, and investing in quality from the start. Because if you treat your wig with patience, love, care. It's going to keep its fullness and shape for years. And I've literally worn wigs for years and they still look and feel incredible because of this exact approach. So next time you see a few strands in your brush, don't panic because that's just your wig being human hair, literally. Myth number 3, if it tangles, it must be bad hair. Okay, and I have to laugh at this myth because even the best wigs on the planet will tangle sometimes. And I don't care if it's a $500 wig or if it's a $5,000 wig. If it's long, if it's been worn all day, if you've got fabric rubbing against it, like you're wearing something like this, it's going to tangle. It's just part of life. But let's break this down because understanding why this happens will completely change the way you see your wig's behavior. So first and foremost, friction is going to be the number one culprit. Every time your hair, I have hair in my face. Every time your hair rubs against your clothes or your seatbelt or your scarf or even the back of a chair, that friction causes strands to twist and interlock a little bit. And it's especially common with longer wigs because there's simply more hair to move around. And the nape area, the back of the neck, it's always the first place you're going to see it. So if you've ever taken your wig off at night and thought, why is this section tangly? That's why. Also, it could be because of dryness and buildup. When hair is dry and coated with too much product, it loses that slip. Imagine 2 smooth ribbons versus 2 pieces of Velcro. Healthy, hydrated strands glide past one another, and then dry ones grab onto everything. And that's why regular hydration, gentle detangling, and the right leave-in products make such a big difference. And here's the good news, guys. High quality hair, especially Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, detangles so much easier and recovers beautifully. When all the cuticles are aligned in the same direction from root to tip, the outer layer of each strand lies flat, like shingles on a roof. And that alignment is what gives the hair its smoothness, its shine, and its resistance to matting. And if you're wearing one of my pieces, Wigs by Steph pieces, that's exactly how every single strand is sourced, processed, ethically, slowly, gently. We never strip the cuticle. We never use heavy silicone coatings that fake a smooth finish and then just wash away later. The silkiness you feel is the actual health of the hair. It's not a temporary coating. And a really quick reality check, even your natural hair tangles. If you go outside on a windy day or you sleep with your hair down, you might wake up with some knots. So when your wig gets a few tangles after hours of you wearing it, it doesn't mean that it's bad hair. It just means it's hair being hair. The difference is how easily it tangles. And with Remy human hair, all you need is a soft bristle brush, a boar bristle brush, and a small drop of hydrating serum or leave-in conditioner, and it's just gonna glide right back to silky perfection. If it's non-Remy or overly processed hair, it's gonna be rough, damaged cuticles that kind of catch like Velcro, and that's when you're gonna get really frustrated and find these knots to be kind of unmanageable. So yes, even the best human hair wigs tangle sometimes, but with quality hair, a little care, and the right habits, tangles are gonna be temporary and totally manageable. Think of it this way. A small tangle at the nape of the neck doesn't mean your wig is losing quality. It means your wig is alive with movement, just like real healthy hair should be. Now comment below healthy hair if you've ever brushed out a tangle and realized, oh wow, she's back to perfect, because that's how easy it is. The next myth is human hair wigs lose their shine fast. And this is one I hear all the time. And honestly, it's only half true. Let me explain. Real human hair doesn't have a scalp anymore, right? There's no natural source of oils or sebum keeping the hair soft and glossy. So if you don't add moisture back in, it can start to look dull in time, especially if we're comparing a human hair wig to a synthetic wig. Like synthetic wigs, they always have a bit of shine to them, right? But the good news is keeping that silky, luminous shine on a human hair wig is totally achievable, and it's actually really simple once you understand why human hair wigs behave this way. So Let's break it down. Why human hair wigs can lose their shine. Well, when hair is growing out of your scalp on your head, your scalp continuously produces oils that travel down the hair shaft, coating each strand and sealing in hydration. But once that hair becomes a part of a wig, it's no longer connected to the scalp anymore, so it can't self-moisturize. And that means you become the caretaker for keeping it nourished and hydrated. It's now our job to do that. And if you skip hydration, the cuticle, which is the outer protective layer of the hair strand, it'll start to lift slightly. And once that happens, light doesn't reflect off it as smoothly anymore, and that's what creates that dull look. And it doesn't mean that the wig is bad quality. It just means that the hair requires moisture and care to look its best again. So the solution is to treat it like luxury hair. You don't need to overcomplicate this, guys. A few small habits make the difference. Use sulfate-free and alcohol-free products because sulfate strips out moisture and drying alcohols can leave the hair feeling brittle. And treat your hair to a deep hydrating mask instead of just a basic conditioner every few washes because wigs aren't washed often, so each wash really is a chance to deeply replenish your wig. Two of my favorite products is the Verb Hydrating Mask as well as the Olaplex, I think it's number 8, Bond Intense Moisture Mask, and those are just ones that I use all the time. And I've made a video on how I wash my human hair wigs, what I do, what products I use. I'll put that video at the end of this one. I share basically my whole process of how I keep my wigs lasting for years and put the hydration back in. So check that out if you're interested. But a little science behind it is that shine isn't about coating hair with something artificial. It's about the smoothness of the cuticle, that outer layer of overlapping, could call it scales. When those scales are flat and aligned, light bounces off evenly and gives that healthy, glossy look. And so when they're lifted or damaged, light scatters instead, which makes it look dull. So when you deep condition and rinse with cool water, you're literally realigning those cuticles so the light reflects beautifully again. Human hair wigs can absolutely stay silky, glossy, and full of life, and all it takes is a little bit of love, a little bit of gentle care, and the right products. And when you start with quality hair and you treat it like the investment it is, the shine doesn't just fade, it just evolves. It becomes that soft, natural radiance that moves with you and looks even better with time. So comment now, shine never fades. If you love when your wig looks and feels freshly washed and buttery smooth like I do. The next myth is all human hair wigs are the same. No, 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 not even close. And honestly, this might be one of the biggest misconceptions out there, and I hear this a lot. I can't tell you how many times I've had someone message me saying, I bought a human hair wig from another site for half the price as yours. Why does it feel completely different? And my answer is always because not all human hair is created equal. It comes down to the integrity of the hair itself. When people hear human hair, they assume it automatically means quality. But what really separates an everyday wig from a luxury one is what happens before the hair ever gets sewn or tied into the cap. So let's talk about Remy human hair first. Remy means the cuticle, that protective outer layer of each strand, is kept fully intact. And it's all aligned in the same direction from root to tip. That alignment is everything. It's what gives the hair its natural glide, its smoothness, and resistance to tangling. The strands literally behave like they're still growing from a healthy scalp. Now, compare that to non-Remy hair, which is what you'll find in a lot of cheaper wigs on the market. And in those cases, hair from different donors has been mixed together. It's processed quickly. It's often thrown into acid baths to strip away the cuticle so that it can be dyed and bleached fast and then sold. And then to make it look shiny again, manufacturers coat it in a thick layer of silicone. So when you first unpack that wig, it feels soft, it feels silky for about 2 to 3 washes, and then that artificial coating washes off. And what's left? It's dry, rough, damaged, and it tangles like crazy. So the long-term difference is night and day. Remy cuticle-intact hair behaves like real hair should. It stays smoother, softer after washing, it absorbs hydration, and holds the style, and it ages gracefully. You can wear it for years if you care for it properly. Non-Remy hair might feel luxury for a week, but because the cuticle was destroyed in processing, it loses that protective layer permanently. And once that's gone, the strand is exposed, which means it dries faster, more tangling, and it's going to look duller. And no amount of conditioner can permanently fix that. This is why I'm so passionate about education. When I first started wearing wigs, guys, I didn't know any of this. I thought human hair was human hair. That's all there was to it. It's all the same. But after years of trying every brand out there and honestly wasting a lot of money on wigs that didn't last me, I learned what to look for. And that's why when I launched Wigs by Steph, I made a promise to only use 100% Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, sourced ethically, processed slowly, and never rushed. And every color blend in my line is achieved gradually using gentle techniques that keep the integrity of the strand. That's so important to me. And I never rely on harsh bleaching or chemical shortcuts. And we never use silicone coatings to fake a shine. The softness and movement you feel, that's real natural hair health. And here's a simple test I'll share with you guys. If a website or a company doesn't clearly mention that their wigs are made from Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, that's usually because they're not. And any brand proud of their materials will tell you right up front because it's a huge selling point. So no, not all human hair wigs are the same. The difference between a basic wig and a premium one is the integrity of what's inside every single strand. And when you invest in a wig with true cuticle intact Remy hair, you're not just buying softness, you're buying longevity, realism, and peace of mind. Now comment quality matters. If you've ever learned the hard way that not all human hair is created equal, and now you know what to look for. The next one is more density means better quality. Let's talk about density for a second because this one comes up constantly. So many people think that more hair automatically means better hair, but that's not true at all. And honestly, one of the biggest mistakes people make when choosing a human hair wig is that they want all the hair, right? They think more hair equals better hair, better wig. And it's easy to think that. I used to think that way. If I'm paying for human hair, I want as much as I can get. But wigs are not like extensions that you clip in just for a night out. A wig is meant to look and move and feel like a natural head of hair. When density is too high, especially around the crown or the part line, the wig can start to look bulky or helmet-like, and the hair doesn't lie down the way it's supposed to, and you lose that effortless flow that makes a wig believable. And it can even start to feel physically heavy after a few hours of wear, which honestly nobody wants. Movement is what creates realism. Have you ever seen someone with naturally thick hair? And even then, there's variation. Like some areas are denser, some are lighter, and that's what gives the hair life and movement. Like a beautiful wig should mimic the same balance. You want enough fullness to feel confident and covered, but have it still be light enough that the hair moves when you turn your head, catches the light, and feels breathable against your scalp. That's what I always look for when designing. Density that looks intentional, not overstuffed. It's about balance, not bulk. And truly, there is a sweet spot where a wig feels full and healthy, but not weighed down. And that balance depends on your head size, your personal style, and even your lifestyle. If you work in warm environments or you live in a humid climate, a super thick wig can just trap that heat and make you feel uncomfortable. If you love sleek, low volume styles, too much density can make straightening or curling a chore. But on the other hand, if you adore bouncy curls or you love those high volume glam looks, a bit of extra density through the mid-lengths might be perfect for you. The key is knowing what you like, not what the label says. So what I do differently at Wigs by Steph is every single wig in my line goes through testing for that perfect balance of fullness, movement, comfort, and I actually wear and test each piece myself before approving it. I want to see how it moves in real life, under lighting, in photos, and in day-to-day wear. And my goal is always realism and comfort first. And that means the hair density around the lace front and the part is lighter to mimic natural hair growth, while the back gradually builds to give soft body and shape. It's not too thin. It's got to be thoughtfully distributed. And that's why when people put on one of my wigs, they always say, oh, it feels like my hair. It looks like my hair. And yes, because it's designed to move like real hair, not just sit there. And that's why sometimes people will ask for like a certain length of wig on a custom order, and I will do that for them, but I will not make it a blunt cut. A lot of times, and it depends on the wig and depends like what someone's requesting, but I will make that decision when I'm making the wig. And if I choose not to make it a blunt cut, there is a reason why. It's because I want your wig to move realistically. So trust the process. There is a reason why certain wigs are styled the way they are. There's thought that's gone into it before producing that style, and I want to make sure it's perfect for you guys. True quality is about thoughtful construction, realistic distribution, and comfort that makes you forget you're even wearing a wig. So comment below, balance is beauty, if you've ever realized that lighter density wigs actually looks much more realistic and natural on you and feels amazing all day long. The next myth is, if it's expensive, it must be better. And gosh, I wish that was true. Wouldn't life be so much easier if it was? But in the wig world, price doesn't always tell the whole story. Sometimes what you're paying for isn't craftsmanship or hair quality at all. It's branding, campaigns, maybe like heavy marketing budgets to make a product seem premium when really it's just kind of average. A true luxury wig isn't defined by the price tag, it's defined by the details inside the cap. So let's break that down. The hair type. Is it Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, or is it processed, mixed, or coated hair? That alone can make or break longevity. And then next, is the construction. Is it fully hand tied, allowing movement in every direction, or is it machine wefted, where hair is sewn in rows? One isn't necessarily bad, but the cost should reflect the craftsmanship involved. And then there's the finishing. Were the knots carefully tied and bleached by hand, or are they thick and visible? Were the color blends painted slowly and naturally, or dipped in a chemical dye to save time? When you know what to look for, you'll quickly realize that not every luxury priced wig deserves that label. And then there's marketing versus manufacturing. Some brands I know invest more in how their wigs look online than how they perform in real life, like professional photo shoots, flashy packaging. All of that costs money and it gets backed into the retail price. But what truly matters is the integrity of what's beneath the surface, how the hair moves, how the lace disappears against your skin, how it feels after 6 months of wear, not just one day. And a high price tag doesn't always mean those things were prioritized. So like, to me, what luxury really should mean is honesty. It means ethically sourcing hair, cuticle intact, Remy hair that's processed slowly and carefully so the strands stay soft and strong. It means taking the time with colors so each tone melts naturally, not just rushing through harsh bleaching. It means creating caps that feel weightless and breathable and wearable all day long, because a wig shouldn't just look beautiful, it should live beautifully with you. And that's the foundation of my brand, Wigs by Steph, is that I wanted to make sure every single piece is made with transparency in mind. And I list every single detail. So like cap type, density, cap construction method, color blend. Because when you're investing in something this personal, you deserve to know exactly what you're getting. And a quick reality check. This is important. If a company isn't willing to disclose what kind of hair they use, or how their caps are made. That's usually a red flag, at least like for me it is. True craftsmanship doesn't hide behind vague terms like premium or luxury. It shows up in quality of the hair, the comfort of the fit, and how the wig still makes you feel months or years later. So no, expensive doesn't automatically mean better. Transparency means better. Integrity means better. Craftsmanship means better. And that's exactly what I want people to experience when they try one of my wigs. Not just a price tag, but a piece that was made with heart, honesty, and purpose. Now, if you've gotten this far in the video, please hit that like button if you haven't already, and comment quality over hype if you agree that honesty and craftsmanship matter more than a label on a box. And the next one is you can treat your wig like your own hair. And okay, this one sounds logical at first, right? Like, I mean, it's human hair, so it must behave like your own, but not exactly true. Sort of true. Let me explain. So yes, the strands are real human hair, but there's a key difference. It's not living hair anymore. Why that matters? When hair is still growing out of your scalp, it's constantly being nourished by your body's natural oils and nutrients, right? And that's what keeps it strong, shiny, and hydrated, even when you heat style or color it. But once that hair is collected and made into a wig, it's no longer receiving that natural moisture. So it's beautiful, yes, but it now relies completely on you to provide hydration, protection, TLC, everything it needs to stay healthy. So while you can absolutely curl it, straighten it, style it, you have to do it differently than on your own head. So what I always like to say is be gentle with heat styling. Heat is one of the quickest ways to shorten your wig's lifespan, and you can totally use a flat iron or curling wand, but try to keep the temperature low and controlled around like 275 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe up to 300. That's the sweet spot I find. And always use a heat protectant spray, preferably one that's alcohol-free and designed for color-treated hair. And that's just going to create a barrier that shields the strands from damage and prevents dry, singed texture that's impossible to fully reverse once it's set in. And remember, even the best quality human hair wig doesn't regenerate after damage. So if you overheat it or color it too often, there's no scalp to heal the cuticle layer. And hydration is everything. Think of your wig like luxury fabric. The more you care for it, the longer it keeps its beauty. So using hydrating masks, letting them sit for 10 to 20 minutes before you wash it out, that's gonna make night and day difference for you. And then there's coloring and chemical treatments. Now, I know it's tempting to color your wig at home, especially if you've done your own hair for years, but I always tell people treat your wig like an investment piece. If you want to change the color, please go to a professional, preferably someone who specializes in wig coloring, not just regular salon services, but ask around. Make sure you trust them, because wigs behave differently than your own natural hair because it's already been processed once for that color you're wearing and toned during manufacturing. So adding more color on top without knowing the exact undertone of the hair, this can very easily lead to dryness, uneven color, or even breakage. So when in doubt, go slow, go gentle, or reach out for advice. Now, the mindset shift is the biggest thing I teach my clients. And this is, you don't have to baby your wig, but you do have to respect it. It's not fragile. It can take on things. Just be careful, be mindful of how often you style. Think of it as caring for something you love, because when you do, it'll love you right back. So no, you can't treat your wig exactly like your own hair, but with the right care, you absolutely can make it look and feel like it's yours. And a human hair wig is an investment in your confidence. And if you treat it with a little love and patience, it'll stay beautiful for years to come. Comment care equals confidence if you agree that a little extra love goes a long way when it comes to your human hair wig. The next myth is that human hair wigs don't last long. And this one makes me want to stand up and defend human hair wigs for a second, because when someone tells me their wig didn't last, my first question is always, what kind of hair was it? And was it cared for? Because quality makes all the difference. Let's be real, not all human hair is created equal. There's a huge difference between non-Remy hair, where the cuticles face different directions and are often stripped or coated, and Remy cuticle-intact hair, which is what I use with my wigs, is like silk fabric. When it's handled with care, it can last beautifully for years. Because the cuticles are all aligned, the strands stay smooth, reflective, and resistant to tangling. When it's gently processed, not rushed, or chemically stripped, it will maintain its softness wash after wash. And that's the secret to longevity. It's not magic, it's integrity. And care is everything. Even the highest quality wig will struggle if it's treated roughly, just like your own hair would. So like washing too often, using harsh products, or styling with excessive heat, those are things that are going to shorten a wig's lifespan. The key is balance here. Only wash when necessary. Don't overdo it. Always use sulfate-free, alcohol-free, paraben-free products. Swap the conditioner for a hydrating mask. Again, I did a video on this. It'll be at the end of this one, how I wash my wigs and all that. And also be gentle when brushing. Start at the ends, work your way up. Always support the lace. Don't tug and pull on the lace. With that kind of care, guys, a high-quality human hair wig can easily last many, many years. I promise you. And then I came to realize that like a lot of people buy wigs that have been coated in silicone to make them feel silky right out of the box. But the problem, that coating eventually washes away, revealing the true texture underneath. And if the hair wasn't high quality to begin with, that's when dryness and matting start to show up. So it's not that human hair wigs can't last. It's that not every wig was built to last. And that's why I focus on uncoated, cuticle-intact hair for my collection. Hair that's naturally soft and strong on its own, not temporary, smoothed and smothered with fillers. And longevity starts with trust. Like when I say that my wigs are made to last, it's because I've seen them do it. I wear them myself. I wash them. I style them. I live in them every day. And they stay soft, natural, and beautiful throughout it. And that's what happens when craftsmanship meets care. It's not about the lifespan printed on a label. It's about building something that holds up, strand by strand, with integrity and love. So no, human hair wigs don't have short lifespans. They actually have really long lifespans. And how long they last depends on where they came from, how they were made, and how you treat them. So treat them well, and they're gonna love you for years. Comment built to last if you believe a well-made wig should age as beautifully as you do. The next myth is you need to wash it after every few wears. And this one might surprise you because the truth of the matter is it's actually the opposite. Most people think that frequent washing keeps a wig fresh and clean, but when it comes to human hair wigs, washing them too often can do more harm than good. But same the other way. If you don't wash them and you don't put moisture back in, doing more harm than good. Now, why overwashing is a problem? Every time you wash your wig, you're not just removing buildup, you're also rinsing away some of the natural hydration and softness that's been added through deep conditioning and styling products. And unlike your natural hair, your wig again, doesn't have oils being produced by your scalp to replace what's getting stripped away. So the more you wash, the more you risk drying it out. And over time, that's going to lead to brittle ends, frizz, and a loss of that beautiful silky flow that makes your wig feel new. And that's why, in this case, less is really more. If you wear your wig every single day for work or errands or just life, washing about once a month is perfect. That gives the hair time to absorb your leave-ins and oils, and it minimizes stress on the fibers. Now, if you rotate between a few styles, you can even stretch out your washes even further, like every 2 to 3 months is totally fine. And if you only wear your wig occasionally, a couple of washes a year might just be all it needs. Remember, human hair wigs are an investment piece. Every wash slightly opens the cuticle layer of the hair, and while we do close it again with conditioner or a hydrating mask, during that process, like too often, we can wear the hair down over time. And I don't want that for us in our wigs. But the goal is clean, not strip. So the point of washing a wig is to maintain it, not to constantly reset it. Overwashing is one of the biggest mistakes people make because it shortens the lifespan of the wig or of the hair. It's better to do quick cleans between washes for the cap, right? Because if we're sweating, like we're thinking, okay, I want this cap to be clean. So you can use like a dry shampoo or a light mist of leave-in for the hair, but save the deep washes for when it's truly necessary. If the wig still looks and feels and smells fine, it does not need a wash yet. Comment less is more if you're officially giving yourself permission to stop overwashing your human hair wig. The next myth is if you sweat, it's ruined. Nope. Let's bust this one right now because sweat does not ruin human hair wigs. It just means your wig, or more specifically your cap, needs a little bit of extra love and care, okay? Because real life happens and that's okay. If you're someone who goes to the gym, enjoys long walks, or lives in a warmer climate, you're not damaging your wig by sweating. The hair itself is not the problem. It's gonna be the salt and oils from your skin that can build up on the inside of the cap over time. And it's that buildup that can make the wig feel heavier, less secure, or even cause minor itching on the scalp area. But the good news is, you don't need to wash the whole wig every single time this happens, and a simple refresh is really all it takes. I actually just focus on the cap. I call it my quick clean method, and that method again will be in my washing video that I'll put at the end of this one, where I share all the details of how exactly I clean just the cap and leave the hair alone. That one's going to be really important to watch, guys. So make sure you're watching that one next. So no, sweat does not ruin wigs. Sweat just means you're living life, you're moving your body, and you're being human, and your wig can handle it. Comment living life in my wig if you refuse to let sweat stop you from feeling beautiful and confident every single day. And the next myth is human hair wigs are hard to maintain. I hear this one all the time, and honestly, it couldn't be further from the truth if you start with the right wig. People often assume human hair wigs are high maintenance because they imagine endless washing, styling, products. But the reality is that when you invest in a good quality Remy cuticle-intact human hair wig, caring for it becomes simple, not hard. It's almost effortless in a way because quality makes the difference. A lot of frustration comes from poor quality hair. When the hair isn't Remy or when the cuticles have been stripped away, it tangles more easily, it dries out, it loses its softness, leaving you constantly fighting with it. And that's not fun. But with cuticle intact Remy hair, every strand is aligned in the same direction, like how natural hair grows from the scalp. And that means the hair behaves naturally. It moves and shines and detangles beautifully. When the foundation is strong, your maintenance routine becomes peaceful and predictable. Like it becomes easy, guys. And simple, gentle care is all it needs. You just need a brush. You need to brush it gently, right? Start from the ends, work your way up. Wash occasionally, not constantly. Use hydrating masks. A well-made human hair wig doesn't just look natural, it feels natural. It moves the same way. It styles beautifully, and it can last for years when cared for correctly. You can strengthen it, curl it, wear it wavy, and it'll always come back to life after a quick wash and a mask treatment. And honestly, the best part, once you learn your rhythm and it becomes like second nature to you, you're gonna find yourself brushing it while chatting, letting it air dry while you make coffee, and realizing, oh, it actually fits seamlessly into my daily routine. It's not high maintenance, it's just high quality. I find that when people call human hair wigs hard, what they're usually describing is a bad experience. Hair that wasn't properly sourced, or over-processed, or care advice that didn't honor the integrity of the hair. But when your wig starts with quality, when it's Remy, cuticle intact, ethically processed, all it takes is a gentle routine to keep it looking new. And human hair wigs aren't hard. They're simply worth caring for. And when you care for them the right way, they reward you with lasting beauty, they make you feel confident, and they give you that real hair feeling every single day. Comment worth it if you agree that a great wig should make your life easier, not harder. So those are the biggest myths I wanted to clear up. And my voice is almost gone. I think I've talked too long today. I hope you're walking away today feeling more confident and excited about wearing your human hair wigs. They are one of the best investments you can make, not just in how you look, but in how you feel. And if this video has helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help others find it too. And if you'd like to see the wigs from my collection, you can check them out at wigsbysteph.com. Each piece is 100% Remy human hair with the cuticle intact, fully glueless, and hand finished for comfort and realism. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and tell me what's one myth you used to believe about human hair wigs. And if you can't think of one, let me know which one I mentioned that was your favorite. And let's just keep the conversation going and help more people feel beautiful and informed. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.